Okay, so for my isometric room, I want an isometric staircase so that I can build a loft and have some more items on a top floor. So I'm going to start by creating my component, and instead of outlining a stairs, I'm going to have each stair basically just be a step, and it doesn't need to be very big. Let's make this 0.5, and then the other one also 0.5. And the reason I'm starting with this is I'm actually going to try to use this repeat to build the stairs in sections. And since my width is just 0.5, I'm going to make this repeat 0.5. But instead of just having repeating squares, what I'm going to do is on my repeat, I'm going to customize each repeat. And what that does is it gives me a number, REP, that will be one of these numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, on each one of these squares. And I can use that variable called an index variable to change each one of these squares. And so I did want the x to be 5, but the height, which is 0.5, I'm going to make it 0.5 plus 0.5 times the repetition. And what happens then is now that height is calculated depending on which repeat that square is. What I don't want is I don't want the center to be in the middle of the stairs like that. So I'm going to take this and I'll leave the position 0.25, but the other position I'm going to add 0.25 times the rep. Oops. Okay, if I subtract 0.25 times the rep, then everything ends up at 0. And that doesn't look like a staircase yet until I grab all of this and do a modify union. Now that looks like the right face of a staircase. And if I wanted to, let me see, do I want to? Yeah, let's do it. Let's add a parameter saying steps. And if I put this to 6, I can change my repetition to be the number of steps. And let's see what happens. If this does what I want. Yep. As I grow the number of steps, it does what I expect, which is it'll grow this staircase for me. And so I have a parameterized number of steps. And let's go ahead and fill the finished step with the color. Let's just make it a component parameter. So now I have the color of the steps parameterized. Oh, I think I might have accidentally done the fill. Or the stroke, sorry. Okay, so let's revert that to default. I really wanted the fill to be parameterized. We'll call it the step color. And we can get rid of that one. Okay, there we go. Now I want to figure out how to build the steps on top of this. So I'm going to make this a right step. So this would be the going up to the right. So this would be the right face, which means I'm going to group it so I can apply the transform to the group, which is my negative 30, negative 30. And this is going to be the 0.866. Okay, I could try to make this a very flat looking staircase, but instead I'm actually going to try to let's make the vertical part of the step first, and then I'm going to make the top of it with a plank, which looks really big right now, so let's not do that just yet. Okay, so each one of the vertical steps, since I made this a half step, let's go and grab that rectangle, and we're going to make it a half a step high, but let's make it 2 inches wide, and let's make it the same color as that step color. No, let's make it a different color. We'll call it the front color, and we'll make it a slight bit lighter. I'm going to change, not the stroke, the fill needs to be the front color. And then I am going to transform. So to transform this, I do want to make a group and then transform the group. This is going to be that front transform, so that's a positive 30, 0.866. This is looking like it's really, really wide, so let's change that to maybe just more of a 1.25. Looks good. Okay, I'm going to connect it up to the side of my stairs, and I want an outline on that. And I want it to repeat the same number of steps as this guy right here. So I'm going to do the Control G. Oops, sorry. I just need to, on that group, do the modify linear repeat. But I'm not going to repeat it up like that. I'm going to repeat it along this stairway until the angle looks like it matches. And this step 6, I'm going to use that steps variable, which means that as I change the steps here, that part should repeat as well. So my linear displacement isn't quite perfect yet. I think maybe I need to give it more precision. Then I can dial it in a little bit more accurately. Okay, the last part of this step that I want to build is the plank that goes on top. And I already have a plank object, but it's just way, way big. That's okay. I'm going to put it on there, and my plank just needs to be adjusted to be, let's try 2. So the X dimension does need to be a little less than 2, but let's just start with that. Maybe this can be 0.75. This can be 0.1, and then I'm just going to play around with that size until I like the size. Still super big, so let's make this even smaller. I like that. Okay, that still looks like it's too wide, so let's make that look more like the step size. And then when you like the way it looks and it looks centered, I bet I can add this to the repeat. So this is my plank, but I'm going to pull it down to this repeat so it goes right on top of those stairs for me. And I don't want it, it's digging in a little bit too much into the stairs. Let's pull that out just a tiny bit. That looks pretty good. So now we have a staircase. Let's see how it looks like in our room. Very nice. So I'll probably need to move this window over to this side. And I have a staircase. But I probably need a loft. So let's actually make the staircase go a little bit further so it looks like it goes up to a loft. Move our picture window, and then we can add another plank to be our loft. Okay, this plank will need to be on top of the staircase so it doesn't cover up the staircase. And then it's still a little bit too wide, so let's shorten it even more. Okay, there we go. We have a door, window, picture frame, stairway up to a loft.